About a week ago, I saw a TikTok video from a guy that said something to the effect of, if you want to know who your real friends are, stop talking to them for a week and you'll find out who your real friends are. Basically, cut them off and you'll find out who your real friends are.
This episode of Nick Speaks is brought to you by the Columbus Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio. At Columbus Restorative, every session is designed to restore balance to the body and mind. From easing stress and tension to supporting overall wellness, their team provides more than just a massage. It's a complete restorative experience. It's about truly restoring your body and mind so you can show up as your best self every single day. Whether you're stressed, sore, or simply need time to reset, their team knows exactly how to help you feel renewed. And listeners of the Nick Speaks podcast can enjoy 20% off their next visit by booking online and using the code SPEAKUP at checkout. That's SPEAKUP, SPEAKUP. Take time to recharge, renew, and restore with Columbus Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio. Now let's begin today's episode of Nick Speaks.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this brand new episode of the Nick Speaks podcast, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud about the issues that matter to the disabled the most. I am your ever so charming host, Nicholas Comstock, and I am so glad that you joined me today on Nick Speaks. I love coming here every week with great guests or just having a conversation with you, such as I'm going to do today. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. I want to give you an announcement that I have, and I also want to give you some show notes before I get in the crux of our conversation. So the announcement that I have is, if you were listening at the very top of the show before I started yapping at you, Nick Speaks has a new sponsor. I am so excited about our new sponsor, Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio, because the owner is a personal friend of mine. Her son was my home health aide when I first moved to Columbus. She is awesome. So what she has decided to do for Nick Speaks listeners and viewers is, on your next visit, if you book online, you get 20% off when you use the promo code Speak Up. So are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling tired? Or do you just want to be bougie and go get a massage? Take a stop in at Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio in Columbus, Ohio. Use the promo code Speak Up and get 20% off of your first visit. Now, this is only available for a limited time, so take advantage of it. Make sure you go in the show notes and click on to Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio's website. We'll have a link for you. So make sure you use the code Speak Up when you're at checkout scheduling your appointment. Thank you to Sandy for sponsoring this podcast, and Columbus Restorative Massage Wellness Studio for sponsoring this podcast. I really appreciate it. Also, the other show notes that I have for you guys, thank you for continuing to donate to my GoFundMe to support what goes on here at Nick Speaks. I really, really appreciate it. Also, if you want to be on the program, whether you are an advocate with a disability like myself, or whether you work in the disabled space, or whether you take care of a disabled family member, whatever avenue you're in, If you want to be on the program, email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com, and we will set up a pre-call and see if you would be a good guest for my program, and I would love to have you come on. Okay, now that's all of the show notes and the special announcements. You guys, I can't stress it enough. Get your 20% off. Go get a massage, treat yourself. Columbus Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio. Go do it. Okay, you guys, now I'm going to open up my heart to you. I've actually had a really rough few weeks mentally, and I'm going to let you inside of my world. So this is going to be big for me because even though I'm a pretty open book, I'm going to share some things, and I hope you guys still love me afterwards. Um, so about a week ago, I saw a TikTok video from a guy that said something to the effect of, if you want to know who your real friends are, stop talking them, stop talking to them for a week, and you'll find out who your real friends are. Basically, cut them off and you'll find out who your real friends are. And got to be honest with you, that struck a chord with me because I've done that throughout my life for the last 10 years or so. You know, I've mentioned before on this program and through my TikTok videos. If you're not following me on TikTok, please go do so. At Nicholas Comstock. That's also in my bio. But I've mentioned on this program and before in my TikToks that, you know, I was really clingy for about 10 years. I would blow up people's phones, um, and until they answered, and I would call them sometimes, depending on how close I was with the person, I would call them between 10 and 20 times a day. And if they didn't answer, I would get real panicky and all this type of stuff. And a lot of my friends at the time couldn't handle that. And I remember someone calling me in. Um, I was actually in college, Bible college at the time. And I remember the guy calling me in and saying, Nick, you're acting like a phone psycho. People are thinking that you're a psycho because you're always calling them. And then if the person that you're calling doesn't pick up, you call somebody that you guys are neutral friends with and are like, why isn't so and so picking up? So, this person that called me in about that when I was in college was like, you need to stop doing this because it's pushing people away. And he told me, he was like, when you stop calling people so much, you will get people calling you and saying, wow, Nick hasn't called me for a while. I wonder what he's been up to. And I got to be honest, I was told that over 10 years ago, and that's not really true. Nobody's called me and said, hey, you haven't called me for a while. Why not? And you know why? It's because people are so wrapped up in their own lives that they don't care about anybody but themselves and their inner circle. And I understand. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm perfect because I'm sure I've gotten that way too sometimes. But I think that I'm a person that tries their best to make time for people. I don't consider myself to be a clicky person. Um, I consider myself someone who is nice to everybody and who tries to befriend as many people as possible. Um, I've never been really part of the cool group, as they say. And so when I saw this TikTok video that this guy made about you want to find out who your real friends are, just cut them off for a week or two or three and see how many of them call you. That really triggered something. Number one, I really think that would cause some mental health problems for people. Number two, I just think cutting people off just because they don't talk to you and seeing how they I just think cutting people off and seeing how they would react by you not reaching out to them. I just think that's high school pettiness and I don't like it. I've done it several times throughout my 35 years of life and it's petty just to cut people off and be like, I wonder how many people care about me. Well, can I ask you a question? How many people do you care about? And how many people know that you care about them? And are you just concerned with yourself all the time? I've had to ask myself these questions that I'm asking you. And most of the time, the answer is I'm concerned with myself and my circle of people that I hang out with. And I've had to do some adjustments. But this is why it is important for people with disabilities, especially because it's really hard for us to make and maintain friends because we always have to plan so much when we want to go out and do something and depending on what our bathroom situation is we have to plan around that and we can't stay out too long and all that type of stuff and so that video that I saw on TikTok really struck me in the fact of dude, that's really immature. And it also really struck me because I've done it before and I didn't get the results that he was saying in the video that people were going to get. This TikToker was saying, oh, if you cut people off for 3 or 4 weeks, they'll come for you'll find out who your real friends are. And I've done that. And I don't know if you're this type of person where if you don't make the connection's just not going to happen. And I'm that type of person. Um, so yeah. And I want to talk about some other things that I've been struggling with. Cause like I said, I've been struggling with my mental health. And not only did that TikTok video set off a trigger, but I've had some other triggers as well. Um, I'm trying to build this podcast and I'm really building a media empire and my public speaking is expanding. And I've had a lot of good things happen to me in 2025, and there's more to come. 2025 has been the best year of my life. And I don't know if you're one of those people that when you have a string of good things happen to you, you're like, oh my God, all this great stuff has happened to me. But when's the bad thing going to happen? Like, when's everything going to fall apart? And that's where I've been. Like, I have just become emotionally crippled with that. When's the bad thing going to happen? Kyle, my producer, I'm not trying to put any bad juju on you, but I've literally had thoughts of what if my producer of my podcast, what if he dies? What am I going to do? How is Nick Speaks going to survive? I've had other emotionally crippling thoughts within the last couple weeks. I'm really close with some of my caregivers, and I'm like, what if they die? what if something happens to them? How am I going to get cared for? If my caregivers don't pick up the phone when I call them, I'm worried that something's happened to them. When I was growing up, I was constantly worried what would happen if one of my parents or both of my parents passed away in the middle of the night. Who was going to take care of me? Now I'm out of my parents' house because my goal was to get out of my parents' house so I didn't have to have that fear and they wouldn't be the ones taking care of me. So I wouldn't have to worry about what's going to happen to them if they die because I already have someone taking care of me. Well, now that I moved out of my parents' house almost 10 years ago, that fear of them dying, before I do has transferred over to what if my caregivers die? What if my caregiving agency gives me a 30-day notice? And what if the podcast fails? Just all these things that I have been struggling with. I mean, and on top of that, I left my church that I've been a part of for almost 6 years because they made me sit in the back row away from everybody else. And they didn't really want me to get involved, and I wanted to get involved. And then I found out there was some shady stuff going on behind closed doors. And so I decided to leave. So I've left my church home. I'm having these anxiety attacks about things happening to people that I love. I'm thinking that my career is going to blow up in smoke. And it's just been a wild ride these last few days. And then this past Monday, I was in the hospital with a like golf ball size abscess down in man down in man land. Let's just put it that way. Down in man land. And so, I've been trying to heal from that. And it's just I just got like all these things. And I just want to say all these things is why it's important for the disabled community especially to have as big a community as we can around us of people who say we're here for you, we're not going anywhere, and you're doing awesome. And I've just been feeling really really lonely lately, and I haven't had enough on my schedule. I tape this podcast every week, and I look forward to it. But to be honest with you, it's really stressful because I have to find guests every week. And if I don't have a guest, then you end up with me like you are today, hearing me talk and hearing me stammer. I don't think I'm stammering too bad, but it's just really stressful. I'm always thinking, is this going to be a real success? Like, am I going to be able to make the money that I want? Am I going to be able to get off the government system like I want to? And when I'm having struggles with my mental health and my chest is feeling like a ton of bricks, sometimes I just want to give up everything and live on the system forever and just have my caregivers wait on me hand and foot. And I'll sit in bed all day and eat until I get so fat I can't move and watch old episodes of Judge Judy. I mean, that's where I've been the past few days. And I just want to know if there's anybody else out there who's been at that point. I know there has been. Um, and I want to hear how you deal with it. I used to deal with it by writing notes, writing a journal on my phone, but I kind of got a little nervous about doing that because if anybody grabs my phone and gets a hold of those notes and they're like, Nick really thought about that. Like, I don't want people to think differently of me or think that I'm a horrible person. So I stopped journaling just because I don't have the ability to write it down myself and keep it in my own personal private space where only I have access to it. So I stopped journaling because I was nervous that somebody would find it and think that I was crazy, even though I'm not, because I know I'm not the only one that has these feelings. And I'm also at a point right now where I'm really craving a romantic relationship and I don't have it. And I just want to see somebody else besides my caregivers every day. Even if I don't have a romantic relationship, I just want, uh, to have friends, to have somebody to go out with, to have somebody to talk to. You know, there are friends that I could call. I could call 10 or 20 people that are my so-called friends, and half of them won't even pick the phone or call me back. And it's just really frustrating. It's like, why? Is your life really so busy that you don't have time for somebody that you said was your friend and that you've loved for years? And it really makes me mad. But what I've had to learn and what I'm still learning is that not everyone will come with you in your next chapter as you level up. Not everyone is meant to be your forever friend. People used to tell me all the time in counseling, I would go see therapists and different church counselors, and they would say, Nick, if you have two best friends in the world, you're a rich man. And they would say that to me. And I've heard that as a saying my whole life. And now I'm starting to believe that it's true. I mean, I have a really good friend. His name is Michael. And Michael, if you're listening to this podcast, I love you. I'm going to make sure you are listening to this because I'm going to send it to you. Uh, but I have a really good friend. His name is Michael. And the other day, I was really feeling down and discouraged and kept thinking about that TikTok video about cut off all your friends. Pretty soon, you'll find out who your real friends are. Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Okay. Um, so I was thinking about that TikTok video being really depressed, and all of a sudden I look at my phone and Michael's name is on my ID. And I was so happy to hear from him. Michael, our friendship is like one of those friendships where you don't have to put on a show. You can just be yourself. Michael and I can just come to each other and be like, you know what? Life sucks. And we're going to embrace each other and figure it out. And to be honest with you, Michael sometimes is the only guy that I really feel is the only friend that I feel that I really have. And because even when he is busy, and Michael does a lot, he's a substitute school teacher. He's a colonel. He was a colonel in the naval, in the naval. Yeah, in the Navy. He was a colonel in the Navy, not the naval. I wonder if he's had popcorn kernels in his naval, but he was a colonel in the Navy. And but even with all of Michael's busyness, he still has found time to call me, to check on me. Because like I said before, yeah, I'm one of those people that is always calling and checking on someone. And I've gotten to the point where I just don't want to do it. And, you know, I've called you so much, you know my number. you've said if I ever needed anything to call you, but half the time you don't pick up the phone. So what's the difference? So I'm going to be honest with you. There's been a major pity party going on sometimes within the last few days. My chest has felt like a ton of bricks. And um I've had panic attacks, like I told you. And what I want to say is that I'm still here. I'm still here and I'm letting you guys into my world today. I'm telling you that everything that you see on TikTok with me, I try to be as real and as authentic as possible. And I'm just here to tell you that there are a lot of days that I don't have it all together. And there are a lot of days that I hate my disability. Um, and I've been going through that a lot. I told you guys a little bit ago that I just left the church that I've been at for 6 years. And you know what? I honestly don't know if I'll ever darken the door of a church again because I'm tired of being hurt by the church. I'm tired of the church saying one thing and it's people doing another. Um or I didn't say it that right. I'm tired of church leadership doing one thing and then saying one thing and then doing another. I'm tired of that. And if the family of God is supposed to be a big family and we're supposed to love and support each other, then why is the family of God so distant? And why is the family of God so clicky? I don't like clicky. I'm sure there are times that I have been clicky. And if I have, and you've known it, I'm sorry, but I do not like people that are clicky. So, if you're a part of the family of God, can you do a better job of loving your brothers and sisters? Can you do a better job of connecting with the one that you call brother or the one that you call sister? And I'm going to be honest with you. I hate the whole, hey, brother Comstock, hey, sister Comstock, if you're a girl, and if you're not, if your last name's Comstock's out there, hello, we're probably related. Um, but I hate the whole brother sister concept because if I'm trying to marry a woman or find a woman, I don't want to think of her as my sister in Christ. That's just weird. So that's a side note. But yeah, like churches, if you're going to say that like the motto of my last church was love God, love people. That church leadership didn't love anybody but themselves and the people that were in their clique. And I'm glad I left that church. Um, I'm not going to say what the church name is here because I don't want to get in trouble. But I did, I did do a podcast episode about my whole experience at the church with Robin Torgensen, who is a fellow podcaster. So go out and listen and watch her podcast called Mega Maniacs, and you can hear about all of my experience at the former church that I went to. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring you guys into my world. I'm letting you into my world this week and just letting you know that I really struggle. And sometimes I feel like I'm about to lose it all. But even though I feel that way, I know two things. Number one, I know God's got me. Number two, no matter what happens, I will be okay. But when you're going through the panic attacks and feeling like you have a ton of bricks on your chest and you feel like you're going to die, reminding you of those two things doesn't really help. So you just have to go through it. And I just thought I would share that with you today because a lot of people on social media are so fake, and they act like they have this perfect life and they have it all together, but then they struggle with mental health, they struggle with alcoholism, they struggle with gambling, and they don't really have it all together just as they portray on social media. And I don't want to be that person. What you see is what you get with me. And I'm being very honest with you and saying the last several days have really sucked. Um, as far as my podcast, I could really use your guys' support. I have my GoFundMe. If you can just drop $5 or $10 in there to support the podcast, support me coming to you every week. I got to pay my producer. Um, you know, and so that would be very helpful. Go ahead and take advantage of our sponsor, Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio, if you are in Columbus or in the surrounding areas, because that supports me as well. You'll get 20% off when you use the code Speak Up when you sign up online. So please help me keep the podcast coming to you. And I want to say also, I would love to be your pen pal. So send me an email at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. And even though we're far away, we can build a community and be here for each other and really love on each other. We don't e- we don't have to be in the same room with each other. We can have a virtual party, or you know, maybe I should start like an audio book club or something. I don't know. I just really want to connect with as many of you as possible because I'm tired of feeling lonely, and my caregiver I'm tired of feeling like my caregivers are all that I have in my life. And my caregivers know I love them. So I'm not, you know, dumping on them or trying to make them feel bad. My caregivers know I love them. But I just need to surround myself with as many people as possible. So if you want to be a pen pal with me, email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. I would love to reach out to you. Maybe if you're in the local area, we could grab a coffee or grab a burger. I'm a sucker for a good burger, especially a Culver's burger. Hello, Culver's, sponsor me. Um, so anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share my heart with you guys. And if you know somebody with a disability in your life, make sure that they know from you how important they are, and make yourself available to them. I hope this program, me opening up to you guys, um, I hope it made you guys think about other people with disabilities in your life. And you guys, please don't feel sorry for me. I'm just here being candid and honest with you about how I feel. And so, you know, mm, go ahead and put all your comments. I know you're going to put like, oh, I'm so sorry, sending big hugs. No, don't be sorry. Become my pen pal. Become a solution to my loneliness, I guess, because I know I'm not the only one that's feeling lonely. And so I know if I'm lonely, you're on the other side of that camera or the other side of the phone, wherever you're listening to this, and you're saying, you know what, I feel lonely too. Reach out to me. Let's really be here for one another. Thank you to Columbus Restorative Massage and Wellness Studio for sponsoring this therapy session. No, thank you for sponsoring this podcast. I really appreciate it. And remember to use the code Speak Up at checkout when you go for your massage for a limited time only. So hurry up. And also, you guys, remember, I've written a book, Trailblazing and Transforming Entrepreneurial Stories of People with Disabilities. I should say, I've written a chapter of a book. So make sure you check that out as well. And like I said, become my pen pal. I will see you guys next week. This is the Nick Speaks podcast, where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud about the issues that matter to the disabled the most. I'm your host, Nicholas Comstock. I will see you next week. Bye.